Hello, good morning, and welcome to Sports Central Live and exclusive to Spectrum Television. I am Mutube David, and I'm so delighted to be back on your screens this morning to look at stories extensively emanating from the exciting world of sports. Well, over the course of the week, we saw the start of the Women Africa Cup of Nations, where Nigeria are actually on a mission to make it 11 times. They will be winning this competition if they successfully defend the title they won last time out in the ongoing WAFCON. We'll take a look at some games that happened over the course of the weekend and the ones expected even later today and the next day as well. We'll also look at the world of transfers. It has been bubbling with exciting conversations, players moving left, right and center, deals being hijacked by several club sides. It will also form a crux of our conversation with you this morning. We'll also take a look at the Commonwealth Games. Team Nigeria winning medals left, right and center, and it remains to be seen whether they can actually amass more than 15 medals, which would actually be maybe the best medals Nigeria have amassed in history of the Commonwealth Games in this ongoing competition. Before we look at all of these stories extensively, let's first of all bring you up to speed with big development making rounds in the exciting world of sports. Welcome to the show. We start off the conversation from home, where Nigeria made history at the 15th African Archery Championships in Oran, Algeria, closing out its most successful campaign yet at the Continental Showpiece with a haul of 7 medals, comprising 1 gold, 5 silver, and 1 bronze, headlined by a maiden team gold in the Bilbao women's event. The standout result came in the Bilbao women's team final, where the trio of Faith Adekogbe, Mandu Eteidon and Precious Faniyam defeated host Algeria 5-3 to be crowned African champions, marking the country's first team title on the continental stage. Adekogbe was the outstanding individual performer of the campaign, leaving Oran with 3 medals in all. Beyond her team gold, she reached the individual final as the number 1 seed, edging Algeria's Malia Ait 6-4 in the quarterfinal and compatriots Precious Fani Amum 6-4 in all Nigeria's semi-final before falling to Algeria's Mawa Rahum in the gold medal match to settle for silver. She added a 3rd medal, another silver, in the Bilbao mixed team alongside Abubakar Usman, who himself collected 2 silvers on the trip. The 7-medal haul builds on a rising run for Nigeria Archery, following medals at the African Championships in Pretoria in 2022 and Nabil, Tunisia in 2023, and gold at the 2025 African Championships and Africa's inaugural run archery tournament, both in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Abdullahi described the outcome as a turning point for the sports in the country. Away from that, Nigeria weightlifter Ruth Nyong produced a remarkable comeback to win silver in the women's 48 kg event at the 2026 Commonwealth Games on Sunday, after finishing 3rd in the snatch with a personal best lift of 75 kg. Nyong missed her first 2 clean and jerk attempts at the 93 kg, leaving her on the brink of elimination. With everything on the line, the Nigerian held her nerve and successfully completed the lift on her final attempt to secure the silver medal. Yo finished with a total of 168 kg, behind only India's Mirabai Chanu, whose Malaysia Irene Henry claimed the bronze medal. The Federation's Director of Marketing, Emmanuel Oyoleke, said the achievement should serve as a springboard for greater investment in the sport at grassroots level. The Federation has appealed to corporate organizations, brands, and individuals who support the national team through sponsorship, athlete adoption, equipment supply, travel logistics, and media partnerships, citing the high cost of competing at continental level. Luca Van Hache captured his first ATP Tour title on Sunday at the Millennium Estoril Open, where he battled past Alexander Bloks, who's also competing in his maiden tour level final. In an engaging championship match at the ATP 250 clear-cut event, Van Hache recovered from squandering a 5-3 lead in the third set to eventually prevail 6-4, 4-6, 7-5 in 2 hours and 24 minutes. Block saved 2 match points in his opening round against Kieran Jacket and then rallied from 2-4 down in the third set against Luciano Daderi in the semi-finals. However, there was not one final rescue act from the 21-year-old, with Vanasche staying mentally stable and increasing his aggression on the forehand to end the Belgian's resistance. Vanasche is up 30 spots to number 48 in the ATP Live rankings and will rise to a career high on Monday. The 22-year-old is the 9th player born in 2004 or later to win a tour-level trophy, with countryman Arthur Fields leading the way with 4 crowns. Lando Norris took his and McLaren's first Grand Prix victory of the year in a compelling race in Hungary as the world champion cruised to a comfortable victory. There was a tense fight for the remaining podium positions in the closing laps between Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli. Verstappen just managed to hold on while Antonelli took third to extend his championship lead to 50 points over Lewis Hamilton and 55 over Mercedes teammate George Russell, who finished 7th after a bad start. Ferrari's Hamilton finished the Grand Prix on Antonelli's tail in 4th place, but was penalized 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane and dropped to 5th behind his teammate Charles Leclerc. Norris' teammate Oscar Piastri led for the most first half of the race, but retired from 2nd place, with the Jeroko made an emphatic start to the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations campaign with a commanding 4-0 victory over Kenya's Harambee Starlets in their Group A clash at the Mole Abdallah Stadium in Rabat on Sunday. The Atlas Lionesses dominated proceedings from the outset and took the lead in the 19th minute when Sana Msudi finished off a move created by Yasmin Birabet. Morocco doubled the advantage 9 minutes later through Mariam Artik, leaving Kenya with a mountain to climb before halftime. Forward Ibitsam Jiradi then took center stage, scoring twice to put the results beyond doubt. She netted her first in the 32nd minute and Hanani Haji's assist before completing her brace just 2 minutes after the restart, again benefiting from Haji's creativity. Morocco's superiority was reflected in the match statistics. The hosts registered 19 shots compared to Kenya's 8, with 10 efforts on target against 3. They also enjoyed 65% possession and aimed 5 corner kicks, while Kenya managed 2. The Harambee Starlets, making only their 2nd appearance at the Continental Tournament, struggled to cope with the experience and quality of the 2022 runners-up. Kenya's only booking came in the stoppage time when Messi Aro received a yellow card for the late challenge. The results leave Morocco at the top of Group A on goal difference, level on 3 points with Algeria, Senegal and Kenya remain without a point after the opening round of the matches. The top 2 teams in the group will qualify for the quarterfinals. And that's what we have for you at this time. We'll take a very short breather. When we return, we'll have an extensive conversation on the show. Do stay with us.
What a new week, what a new time to look forward to increasing talking point around the world of sports and excitement happens all through Sports Central. And my name is Blyden Ukem. On Sports Central this morning, key talking point is centered around the WAFCON that's taking place. Our home team and hosts are showing dominance and class so early at the first round games of the competition so far. Well, the likes of them, some teams are yet to get that win, the likes of Senegal are trying the best, but not really working out for them. It's going to be a conversation as we look forward to the Super Falcons of Nigeria preparing ahead of their first game of the WAFCON. We'll talk about Formula One. And over the weekend, we saw the matchup, especially early hours of the morning on Sunday. We saw Anthony Joshua stand up after falling to the grass, but rose up to grace quickly to get a victory against his opponent. It will be also a conversation to talk about in this one and setting up a clash against Tyson Fury. One for many to talk about in the world of tennis and Formula One. Interesting conversation just ahead of us as the Nigerian team seem to be struggling at the Commonwealth Games, especially the boxing team. We'll talk about these and many more in the course of it. But I'm not alone in the house. The guys are here with me on the table of greatness, ready for the talking point, the build-up that comes with it. Fire off with David in this one. Good morning with and funny tonight in the middle. Good morning with David.
Good morning, Blyden. I'd like to be back. The new week is here, but over the weekend we had the start of the WAFCON, so I'm delighted we're about looking at another tournament outside the recently concluded FIFA World Cup. So it looks like the calendar here in 2026 is really boxed with lots of exciting conversations in the world of football.
Yeah, we're from football, but the Commonwealth Games taking center stage. Funny tonight, good morning.
Excited to be back.
Well, I'm excited to be back, and quickly we go to the thick of a conversation. Starting from the Commonwealth game, because we're talking about the likes of Young fighting back to claim weightlifting silver in that direction. And our Nigerian team with David, I start with you, has not done so well at this Commonwealth game, especially the boxers. A full elimination for them in that regard. But I was here good news that is coming with the likes of Deshina, Onoto, Owevo, also landing in Glasgow as athletics is set to kickstart. One Young fighting back to claim weightlifting silver medal.
I think it's concerning, but then again, I do not think it's also a thing of concern that much because when you look at the Commonwealth Games, before the start of the competition, the National Sports Commission came out to say, come on, we're looking at 20 medals in total for Team Nigeria at least. Because if you look at the last time they went to the Commonwealth Games, or their most successful, outing at the Commonwealth Games, more or less, not more than, 12 medals in total. And that shows you the struggles of, Nigerian athletes, especially going to a competition like this. So I think at the moment, mixed reactions. But then again, I'm looking at the very fact that they're competing at top level with quality athletes. So you may actually expect those setbacks to happen. Preparations ahead of the start of this Commonwealth Games was not questionable for me. So when you have, some athletes not doing quite well at top level, you would also understand the very fact that it was just a bad day, maybe not good enough in terms of quality and what we saw. But I think at the moment it's, progressing for them. I'm still expecting more medals before the end of this tournament. Sadly, we can't do more in the world of boxing, but I believe other, sports can actually give us more medals.
Meanwhile, Rotha Sukon Young also won the silver medal in the women's 48 kg weightlifting event at the 2026 Commonwealth Game in Glasgow. They finished behind India's Mirabel Shanu, who took gold with a record-breaking total of 190 kg, while Malaysia's Irene Jane Henry claimed the bronze medal. We're talking about the snatch phase, the clean and jerk, and a total weight category in that level. Having to add up the number in camp in this one. In Glasgow, they've arrived to boost in Nigeria's track and field contingent as athletics events kicks off today. But funny now, let's talk about this. Two big names have arrived now, and it seems like one that the energy in camp is moving even higher.
I think I would say one big name. Adeshina, she's the Nigerian record holder for the high jump. So definitely, I think that's the biggest. And both of them are coming from the NCAA category. So I'll not really call them big names because they're still collegiate athletes. Not really held there when it comes to competitions, big competitions across the world championships and all of that. So it's going to be there for Adeshina. It's going to be her second time at the Commonwealth Games.
27-year-old.
So for Onujo Webo, it's going to be her first time. So it's basically what it is now. So I'm expecting not a lot. I think Nigerians are the cause of their own heartbreak now because we're expecting too much from these athletes. We should just tone it down a little bit. But let's just see what they have for us. But Adeshina, I'm quite impressed with what she's been able to do for herself. And I think this year has been one of those years where you can say this is her best year as an athlete. So maybe the Commonwealth Games would just be another icing on the cake for her.
A Commonwealth game being an icing on the cake for how Unfortunately, I've spoken about it, but good performance for Adesina this year with this guys featuring for them. And similarly, from a Commonwealth point of view, Nigeria suffer more boxing blows in Glasgow with a fourth loss, not so.
When we talked about that. So maybe let's say in the amateur level, or when it gets to the pro level, we've got Nigerians doing well in boxing. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a case of bad preparations, but I cannot even say that still because
and to go to the pro level, you have to
start here
from the amateur.
So
it's a picture of what could happen in the future. And at a pro level, you might not see real Nigerian swing. What they have to do, owning that one against the best in the world as it stands. It has to start here in Funny Let's talk about it. So I'll give you an elimination roll call for them. We're talking about Ajishola Akadijat defeated 3-2 by Helen Jones Wells in women's 54 kg round of 16 on Sunday. Similarly, David Akintola beaten 4-1 by Yusuf Lukasi of Tanzania in 80 kg round of 32 still on Sunday. And Abdurrahman Duwahab losing 5-0. This one bad. Losing 5-0 to Nuhu Foli Hassan defeated 4-0 by Rofilio beating Nigerians in that direction.
Lesotho and Tanzania fights.
And you look at the names of the boxers, they seem to be mostly of the West. And that could be something because when you talk about boxing in time past, they always have to put a Kwabomite in there.
You have an Okun somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. An Okun somewhere, an Akpan somewhere ought to be there. But in recent times, it's not happening. Just a few pocket of feet in weightlifting. That's why Silva, you could hear the name Young. And those are traditional sports for Kwabomites in that direction. Weightlifting and boxing. But in recent times, no Kwabomites in it. So quite concerning, I must say. Quickly, we hear that the Ochonogu was ruled out of women's long jump after entry request rejected. Quite concerning, I
think it also reminds me of what happened with Favor Philly. I think it also reminds me of what happened with Favor Philly. She was unable to be registered for 3 competitions on a row, and she had to quit Nigeria, wanted to go to Turkey, but that moved things. And right now, she's not going to be able to achieve that dream because of poor registration, maybe a late registration by the NSC. I hear they wanted to replace S.A. Brume, and they, instead of replacing S.A. Brume with one particular participant, they decided to go with 2. And they know the rules already. You cannot replace one person with 2 persons, and now those 2 persons have already lost their dream of competing at the Commonwealth Games.
The other athlete they wanted to add was Ruth also in that direction. Quite concerning. It's always going to end on the grounds that a country single athlete replacement in this direction, a quota had already been exhausted by a drafting in Usoro, meaning they could not leave